table, even if there is no corresponding match in the right table, right? And then we discussed about right join. So right join of two relations R1 and R2, it returns all the records from the right table, even if there is no corresponding match in the left table. And inner join, it returns records that are present only in both the tables R1 and when only when there is a match between the relations R1 and R2, right? So inner join, it returns records in relations R1 and R2 only when there is match between the records that are present in R1 and R2. And full join, it returns all the records that are present in both the left table as well as in the right table, even if there is no corresponding match found. Cartesian join, it returns the Cartesian product of the participating relations. And inner join, whenever you want to join it relation to itself, we go for inner join, right? So we temporarily rename a table and we join a table to itself. It's known as inner join, right? So last class we studied some examples of how to work with the joins. Saloni, are you prepared?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll share my screen.
You can explain to your class.
Yeah, is it visible?
It's visible, Saloni.
Okay, yeah. So there are 6 types of join. Inner join represents intersection. Left join is all the rows that are there in left table and intersection. Right join is the right table and intersection. Full join is everything. Self join is joining one table to itself by creating a copy of the same table in the query, like we'll see. And Cartesian join is basically product. So starting with inner join, I've taken 2 tables. One is students, which has ID, name, address, and age. And second table is marks. There is particular course ID, and each course ID has some roll number and its marks. So now this is how we write the query, where we select some particular columns. So I'll select course ID from the marks table, name from the students table, and marks from the marks table. And from students inner join marks, so we're joining student with marks, and on which basis are we joining is id of the students table is equal to the roll number of marks table. So here we can see that whichever roll number and id are equal, that is here 1, so it'll be Ram. Then for 2 it'll be Raj. For 3 it'll be Som. 8 is not available, so it won't be there. And 4 is Preeti. So that is what I've joined, and corresponding marks from the marks table are written. So this will be the final answer. Now when we do left join, we'll be considering all rows of the left table, including the intersection. And if there is no corresponding value present in the marks table, then we'll write it as null. Though in these tables, both are present, so there'll be no null value. So what will happen is whatever ID is equal to course ID, no, equal to roll number, we'll put it in the table, and we're only selecting name and course IDs. So here, this is 1 with course ID 1. So corresponding name is Ram. So Ram has a course ID 1. Similarly, if I take another example, for example, 4, so roll number 4 is Preeti. And here the course ID is 3. So I've selected 3. So this is how left join will work. Uh, so uh, so here we see that right join is the same, except the right table's all rows will be marked. So here you can see that there is null also, because there is 8 which is not matching any roll number here, which is roll number 8. There is no corresponding ID in the students table, but we have to include all rows from the right table because it's right join. So we'll still include that row, and we'll mark the name as null because there is no corresponding name here. So what we are doing is we're taking student's name and course ID from the marks table, and we are putting it here. So one example will be roll number 1, ID 1, course ID is 1. So course ID is 1 and the name is Ram. Now for 8, there is no ID here. So we put name as null, but course ID is still 3 because marks has that particular entry. For full join, we'll include rows from both the tables which are matching as well as not matching, And if there is no corresponding matching in one of the tables, we'll still mark it as null. So as you can see here, for 8, there is no corresponding name, so we'll mark it as null. For self join, what we do is the query is in such a way that we create two instances of the same table. So here students A is created, students B is created. So this means that two instances of the same table are created, and the query I've put is A marks equal to B marks plus 5. So if this condition holds true, then I need to select A dot roll number, B dot name, and B dot marks. So what this means that for the particular roll number, which name and marks are such that the marks of the other person is 5 greater than the current marks. So here you can see, I'll take an example. So roll number 1 is ABC and marks are 20. So for example, this is A. So A dot marks. Now we need to find a B in such a way that B dot marks plus 5 becomes A dot marks. So it will be 15. 15 plus 5 is 20. So that is why XYZ will be the name, because name is selected from the B table. So this is how you do self join. And Cartesian join is nothing but each row of one table is marked with another row and the whole table is generated. So if there are n rows in the first column, first table, and m rows in the second table, then the total number of rows in the final query will be n into m, because each row is marked with each other row from the other table. Yeah, that's it.
Right. So thank you, Saloni, for your presentation. Right. So
Yeah, thank you.
so I think uh, she has explained joins very nicely. Right. So these are the different types of joins available in SQL. Right. So last class we were discussing about working with joins in SQL. Right. So in today's class, let us study about the commercial architecture of a database management system. Right. Uh, right. So Gokul,
Sir,
right? So how many students are there in your class? You have around 73, right?
76, sir.
76. Like why you have very less participants? Only 46 they have. They are in the meeting, right?
Sir, like a few might have interviews right now, sir. So they might not have joined, sir. They'll be watching the recorded lecture.
So what about other classes?
Like it's going on for all the classes like this only, sir. Like we have internship process going on, so that is happening simultaneously, sir. And those who are missing the classes would be like watching the lectures to catch up, sir.
Right. So even last year I handled similar courses for third year. Last year also I taught DBMS theory and lab for third year. Then later I taught data mining and artificial intelligence for the third year students. Like usually we get full attendance, or like the absentees will be very less. Like only 10% they skip the classes. So you can update them that they are expected to have at least 75% of attendance for writing a course.
Yes, sir. That will be made sure, sir. Like for like the past 3 days we are having online test and interviews, sir. But then like after this we'll be a little free, sir. So
Right. Or
the
you can
criteria will
schedule,
be like attended,
or
sir.
you can connect with us and you can schedule our classes in such a way that let the students attend the interview, and later afternoon they can have their classes. Right.
Like
Okay.
like for different companies, like it's different interviews, sir. Like we can't schedule like it will be like we need to schedule like every class differently, sir.
Okay. So ensure that students attend all the classes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.